little pressed for time. Alright, so here we are. I think this is going to technically be episode number 9. 9, count it. On Iris of Our Eye here. I'm still the host. It's Icon of the Flow, and today I'm sitting down with David.
Douglas DeVivo.
I'm not terrible, dude. I should have, if you gave me the card for every time, I thought it was David.
No problem. I forget names immediately. I'll tell you, I have this really interesting thing where you can tell me something, I'll forget. Yeah. Words don't mean anything. Or like a perfect example is codes on telephone, where you put in your 4-digit code.
Right.
And somebody could have a word code, and I won't remember it, or number code. They'll do it right in front of you, and I'll forget immediately. But people will have those dots where you touch certain dots to make a pattern.
Yep.
I remember all those. Somebody will come in and did it 10 years ago, or a long time ago.
Yeah, it's just...
And it's just, I know what it is. I could tell you what it is. I could show it. Isn't that interesting?
It has to be some part of your brain, or the visual part, or it's much stronger, bigger than the other part. The words is some other...
I learned visually.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could show me how to work a tool. Yeah. If we're working with our hands, I'll remember it forever. But tell me something, not so much.
And when you're out the other?
Well, actually, I'm getting better. My partner has been having memory problems, so I have to be the memory in the family. So I'm using that part of my brain much more and remembering a lot more things than I used to. I think there's also an exercise that must be happening. I don't exercise it in the past enough.
It's a neuroplasticity in your brain's able to grow new neural connections. All that good scientific stuff. But we're here for the art.
Okay.
So, Douglas. My apologies. What is art to you?
Oh my gosh, art is just life. Art is what is my being. Mm-hmm. It is what my energy goes to. Mm-hmm. Gosh, that is really what art is to me. I can't live without doing art. If you ask me to do something else, there'd have to be an art component in it. Just everything has to have art in it.
I love that answer. Great. I'm curious. So when you're doing other things in your life, is there a artistic style that you go about doing other random things that other people wouldn't really see that as art or say that it's art, but you do
working
art,
with your hands. I like to work with wood.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of planning and shaping and things working with wood, whether it's an old piece of wood, new piece of wood. There's a lot of things that go into art. Art is I think a lot of people think of art as just expressing your creativity. Well, that's true, that's art, but really a piece of art is a lot of work involved in the process of going from my mind to the actual finished piece. Mm-hmm. My mind is always active in creating art, but in doing a project, there's 6 months involved. Mm-hmm. So, and a lot of it is just the grunt work of making the parts, getting it down, going through the problems of it, fixing the problems. There's a lot of problem solving to get to a piece. And that's where it's at.
That's where it's at.
Yeah.
So what originally drew you to being an artist, or to say it a different way, why are you an artist?
I've always been an artist. I've always been a creative. Mm-hmm. Because I was a designer for 30 years. I loved art. I always wanted to be an artist, but thinking about money and stuff like that, getting through life easily, I became a designer, which is a very creative experience.
Sure. What did you design?
Oh, I used to design for factories made in Asia. Okay. Things for, I started off designing Christmas and holiday things, and in the later years I ended up doing French country home decor for the European market.
Sure.
But working with big Chinese factories to make that happen.
Okay. Yeah, never anything that's ever crossed my brain is a thing that I would ever do. So I just love hearing other people's I started with this, but now I'm here.
Well, I went as a student to study Chinese art in Taiwan.
Okay.
I did that. It was supposed to be a 1-year class, a 1-year program, and I extended it out to 3 years. But at the end of that time, I was so broke.
Right.
You know, I took an English teaching job just to get any money, and it happened to be the ceramics manufacturing capital of the world at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And they saw I could draw, you know, because the only way I could teach English is by drawing pictures and making it interesting for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were all factory bosses in need of a designer. So they said, well, we'll show you how to design for factories,
Mm-hmm.
which is a real trippy thing. You know?
I bet.
Yeah, every factory has got a different character. They use a different material. They have a different market. So you have to learn how to design for all those things. Also, in Asia, every factory has got its own society in the factory and how it all goes through. And then there's also the provincial society, not only Chinese society, but the province that they're in. There's a different character of the people. So you need to understand all those when you go about designing. And so I was good at doing that. I was shit at language, but I was good at doing that.
Good ask. Do you speak Mandarin at all, or they just
I was really good at finding people to help me.
Yeah, right. They're just like, hey, wait, like, do you speak any English?
Yeah. So anyway, so I don't know where that came from.
How you got where you started essentially.
Oh yeah, that's how I started, and then at 50, I think a few times in my life I kind of quit design.
Uh-huh.
And said I'm going to do art, and failed at it. And then at 50, I reevaluated again and said, if not now, when?
Right.
And so at 50, I decided I was going to be, you know, at 60 or 65, I would be financially set up. Everything would be great.
Mm-hmm.
But how strong would I be at 60, 65 compared to 50 to endure living as an artist? And so I said, forget it. I'm not going to do this work anymore. I just started doing art because I like to do what I wanted. I wanted to do what I wanted to do instead of what somebody else wanted me to do.
Of course, the way you wanted to do it. I kind of feel like I'm in a similar boat with the way I'm trying to live my life. It's just like I have this amazing job and it's an amazing place to work, but I want it to be like my last job. I want to be able to transition full time to like writing and performing and being a musician, being a comedian, and like doing stuff like this, and just having this be the thing that's like sustaining me and my family.
Yeah.
When I get to that phase.
Hard one.
Yeah, probably. But I think I just need to rise to the challenge. There's been multiple times in my life where I feel like I've tried to like regress back into like childhood patterns or acting like a child. Right?
Man, it doesn't ever stop.
Dude, I know. It's like you have this inner child that's always just like, bro, like I just want to play and have fun. But I'm like, I got to be a little responsible, and I'm trying to make the thing that I do also be fun as to how.
Well, there you go. That's the secret to life. I mean, that's what most people cannot do. Is like you got to be having fun all the time, or as much as you can, because life is going to throw curveballs that just are shitty at you, you know, and so if you're not enjoying it as much as you can, it makes it harder to endure all the crap that comes up at you. So, you know, and the more you love what you do and have the fun doing it, the less you need the newest phone, the newest car, and all the things that society is saying you need. I have to say, I'm the poorest I've ever been, except for when I grew up. The poorest I've ever been, but I'm the happiest I've ever been, you know, and I live better, I think, than I ever have in my life, you know, where money just kind of made me ill.
Right.
And gave me a lot of things, but what are those things?
Right, and your health is wealth. It's like
right.
the cornerstone, the bedrock. Like you can't, even if you were the richest person on the face of the earth, if you were like bedridden and always fucking sick, like it just wouldn't be any fun.
Yeah, it would not be, and a lot of people are like that because they just get caught up in what they're doing and what they think they need, and it just is a sad cycle.
Sure. So I guess I haven't really been able to ask this question, but just the way that the conversation is going right now, so you would consider yourself in like a starving artist phase, or was that earlier in life, or now we're kind of there now, or?
You know, I support myself. I have a home of my own. I have a gallery. I maintain. I still struggle, but what's starving artist? I think of starving artist the guy who hasn't got, you know, he's got a room in a house and nothing, you know. nothing else, and he's always wondering if he's ever going to sell anything, you know. So
yeah, maybe I guess maybe I was just projecting then, because like I feel like that's kind of where I'm at. Like I gotta either start making memes or start making videos, shorter videos. Like this is like too much of a long form content for like people that are like on the internet.
Yeah, right.
You
need like 2 minutes.
Yeah, like even that's too long, dude. You gotta get like a 60-second, 15-second, like these tiny little things.
I'm looking at videos and I'm kind of going through a video and like, do I want to spend 15 minutes listening to this person? Mm-hmm. Do I want to spend a minute?
Sure.
You know, I'm going to go for the shortest time possible.
Yeah.
You know, very few of them make me interested the whole way through.
Yeah, it's definitely like the economy of attention is this whole giant game that I gotta figure out or like get used to playing, I guess.
Well, that's true. And the other thing is like you're smart. Start young. Start young. You're flexible. You're stronger.
Malleable.
Something,
dude.
You're stronger. You're willing to endure much more than a guy my age. You know?
Right. Yeah. That is one of my biggest assets. I'll say is that I got time.
Yeah.
And I might not have money, but I got a lot of time, and I gotta just keep developing the skills and everything. I'm praying it'll just come together eventually at some point.
Well, time is that's on your side in the fact that the longer you do it, the better you'll get, the more you'll get known. Everybody else will fade away. Mm-hmm. There'll be just a few to a point.
Sure.
But then a whole new set of technologies and a whole new set of things that come out, and you'll kind of get behind the curve again. So what do you do with that? There's AI. You were talking about AI.
Right.
That's kind of a weird thing. You know, I have to say that my thought about AI or people who copy is it pushes me to go further.
Sure.
It's a blessing that gives me a base to go further from.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever considered using it in any way, shape, or form in your
AI?
Yeah.
I can barely do my email.
Yeah, probably not.
I just like
I'm telling you, man, they're making it so simple. Like if you just Google it and you just find a one that you like, find it because you can just generate images based on like what you just type something in, and then you just cut it up and put it in a thing, and you're using it. So.
They always say it's that easy.
It does, literally it is. I could show you an app on your put it on your phone.
I'm good. Like, I've had my technology for
that's classic person who's older than me. Energy. not to
well, I mean, like give me a typewriter, that's like
Yeah. We all I'm sometimes I feel like I'm at that point where I'm like, I don't need any more. I don't want any more new technology.
But by the time, you get to the people like 13 now and they're growing up,
right?
They've got all sorts of different technology that you don't even know about. Mm-hmm. And revenge will come back to you for what you just said to me because you'll be the old person.
Oh, right, dude, I know, dude. I'm trying to, the whole thing of like trying to keep an open mind forever is like, just
how much time would you have to spend doing it?
I mean, it depends. Like the whole thing is like how good, how close your ego gets interwound into it. Basically, is always what I feel like is the barrier
like a nice trap.
Right, exactly. It's like how much do you want to be like known for it, or is it just something that you like dabble with? And if you just dabble with it, you never take it really seriously. Then if anyone says anything about it, you're like, I'm just having fun. I'm just playing around. Like that's not.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to fucking like reinvent the wheel or do anything like super crazy, but it's just the way I see it, it's just like a tool that's like if you don't use it in any way, shape, or form, then the people who do use it are gonna have a leg up on you if you're doing it in that like competitive mindset. But if you're doing it in a collaborative way that like somebody at some point you are just gonna bump into, or me is gonna be like, oh, dude, I've been doing this for 5 years. I know this is how you do it, or I can show you or help you out this time that you need it done. So it's just how you want to play the game and.
Yeah. Where do you want to put your energy?
That's it. That's really it.
Yeah.
Is there any pieces that you want to like show to the audience at some point?
Gosh, everything.
Right.
Everything is good.
So I'm just saying because I can put it like right here, and then like on the video, and then
you could just pick up a piece, and if you want to talk about it, I can talk about it. I'll tell you. I'll show you what I'm doing now. This is the latest piece now. To look at this seems very simple, but the whole idea is about simplicity. But simplicity that has complexity in it. How do you mix simplicity and complexity in it? So the thing is that this is only like 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of paper to make this collage. Mm-hmm. But if you look at each piece of paper in here, there's an incredible amount of patterning that's happening. So the complexity becomes into the pattern, which is very quiet, but there's so much happening in here. There's the complexity is creating the pattern and mixing the patterns together.
And then like color and
Yeah, like this is pencil work with tissue paper on top. This is paint and tissue paper. This is like a wrapping paper with copy paper. It's all sorts of patterns in here with tissue paper on them. In these, the idea is to go as simple as possible. You know, most of my work has thousands of pieces, but this is like, I'm always trying to struggle to get to like few pieces of paper. But I love complexity at the same time.
Right.
So how do I mix?
Yeah.
So this project is about doing that. So I did the first round of them, and I have to say that to make the collage is only like a 10-minute process. To make the paper that goes into the collage is another 6 months, because there was hundreds and hundreds of these pages I made, and you make them and then you add more to them and cover them up and change them and continue to alter them. And that was the, it's probably to make these 30 pieces, I made maybe 300 pages, about this size to cut up to make into the piece. And now I felt like I kind of got there with some of these, but now the next thing to do, I'm going to do it again. I'm in the process of doing it again, but I'm going to make like 600 pages so I can get a much more comprehensive palette of paper and then try to get even simpler than this.
Damn.
That's the project now.
Right.
Yeah. So the other part of the project is I'm going to teach a class.
Sure.
And teach people how to do this, which is a way for me to learn. And also, when I have a bunch of people doing it, they show me different ways to put it together that I wouldn't think of. Right. And there's a really great learning process for me, too.
Sure.
So
what inspires you to make the art the way that you do? Or
I'm always inspired.
Always
Creativity, inspiration just flows out of me.
So would you say that you have a muse? Or
No, there's no muse.
No muse?
No muse.
No. Okay.
I think my partner, who is a great woman, she's great, but she's more like down to earth. She kind of keeps me down to earth. So she's not really a muse. I don't really have muses because it's all about, for me, creativity is just about asking questions of myself. What happens if? And keep those questions going and just like play with that idea. What happens if? And just keep asking that over and over and over.
So I gotta take that one.
Is
I need to take that one into my music, or at least the way I'm practicing music. 'Cause it's a never-ending process. Practice, but it's like I feel like I keep reaching a point where I'm just repeating myself. So I gotta be like, well, what if I do this differently, or how can I do this differently? Things like that to try to keep it
or
different.
Just stop caring.
Just stop caring, but I
Well,
want it to sound good.
If you stop caring, no, I don't think stop caring means stop caring. But I think what it means is, and this is a very important principle for me, is don't care what the outcome is. Just enjoy the process of doing it. If you hate the piece, there's a greater chance that you want to continue on, even though you hate it, you'll just throw something out there, and that's where the growth happens. Caring and worrying that it's a good piece is a creativity stopper. I want this to be perfect, so I'm going to care about every step of it. This is like where this is a problem. I care about it too much. Where if you don't care, you just throw something on and bam, that's where the big growth is going to happen in your process, is not caring, just like, I hate it, I'm just going to do this. Boom, something great will happen.
Oh, fuck it, man. I'll take that and try to implement it in my own life, caring a little bit less. It's this weird, for me, the balance of I guess nihilism, if you could take it to the philosophical level of nothing matters, and to the whatever. I guess it's existentialism is everything matters.
I think it's just the joy of doing it. I enjoy doing this every day. I mean, I can't think of anything else I'd rather do. I could retire right now. What would I be doing? The same thing I'm doing now.
Dude,
it's but I wouldn't. It's like, wow, that's kind of how do you compromise on that? I don't see how. But So I enjoy doing it. Most of my stuff is crap.
Sure.
And a few pieces are good, but where do you get to the good pieces is by going through a lot of crap.
Right.
There's a really great book. It's so down to earth. I love it, and I recommend it. It's like a one-night read. You can get it for $3 used on Amazon. It's called Art and Fear, and it's all about the process of making art. It's only about this thick, and it just says do a lot, do it often, just enjoy the process. Realize most of your stuff's going to be crap.
Right.
1 out of 10 is good. And if you just accept those things, everything else is gravy.
Everything else is gravy, man, dude. I love mashed potatoes, but gravy was never a thing that I was super big on. But yeah,
butter. Everything is butter.
Everything's butter, even better. Nothing better than butter.
Mm.
Whew. All right, this is good. This is flying by. I don't even know how long we've been. 20 minutes. Okay, cool, sure. Try not to be too meta with it. All right. I guess so. Then you're probably not aspiring to greatness in any.
Oh,
any
for
meaningful...
sure. I aspire to greatness. I don't feel like I'm. I think there's certain things you have to do for greatness, and I don't see that something I want to do. If I have to go to New York, if I have to go and really push myself hard out in the world, as a younger man, I would do that, but. Now I see there has to be a balance in life, and I'm not willing to go that way anymore.
Sure.
So if it comes to me, that's easy.
Sure.
That's where I'll go.
Right.
But I would like everything to end up someplace and not end up in the garbage can, or whoever looks at my estate going, what do we do with these thousands of pieces of art? This is crazy. I hear about that.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, well, do I want people to have to go through all this? I don't think so.
In that way, yeah. Post-mortem.
Yeah, I would want people to want it all.
Right. Well, at least the ones that are good, right? The
ones that aren't good, ones I don't love, tend to get trashed. Of the things I don't make that aren't any good, they get cut up and used in other collages.
Right. Upcycle.
Upcycle. That was the big thing I wanted was when I quit designing, because I was making hundreds of containers worth of stuff, and each of those containers not only were take a box and styrofoam or some type of packing material and the shipping cost, but there was also, if you watch manufacturing, all the waste in manufacturing is so crazy, and even from the beginning, when I was 20 something and I was looking at the waste in manufacturing. You go to Chinese factories, and it's just like they're making these products, but there's huge piles, bigger than this house, of the waste product from that manufacturing. And I said, I don't want to be a part of that. That's just the wrong place to be. We need to cut back. Yeah. And so this is my way of cutting back.
To be involved in your own manufacturing.
That's right. Don't do copies. Just do this. Don't. I don't make 1,000 of these. I don't. I make one.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Where do you? Because I believe looking around and seeing what you make that you're an extremely original person. Mm-hmm. So do you have I kind of already asked this, but where do you think originality comes from? Or is it just who are your influences?
Well, originality comes from going through a lot of unoriginal ideas. Mm-hmm. So you have to go through the unoriginal ideas, and then something original will come out. And I think even if you looked at my stuff, you'll find somebody who's probably done something like that before. Mm-hmm. Not that I'm copying. There is a guy I really love, but I was never able to copy his work. Rex Ray was my hero as far as collage, and but I could never cut the way he does. His hand movements were so unusual. Yeah, so I think everything has been done before. Mm-hmm. But I'm doing it my way now. Mm-hmm. But I bet if you looked in history, you'll find somebody who's done just that.
Yeah, nothing original under the sun, I think
Yeah.
is the quote. I don't know who said it, but
Maybe forgotten, and yours is original because theirs is forgotten.
something
Or
like
most
that.
people don't know it.
Right, that's
Yeah.
always the thing where like exposure, what you're exposed to early on in your childhood makes you think that like what you're looking at is original,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I specifically, this is kind of probably sound a little silly, but there's this song in this episode from SpongeBob. It's called Stadium Rave, and like when I heard that, I was like, oh, they like made this for this show. And then my friend, who's like maybe like 15 years older than me, is like, no, that was like a song, but way before that was ever in SpongeBob, dude. Like, what are you talking about? And I was just like,
wow.
fine.
Yeah, what can you do?
Makes
about
perfect
that?
sense.
Makes perfect sense.
Because then I found the song. I'm like, oh yeah, this was like a song before, like, way before SpongeBob.
Long time
Yeah,
before, and
yeah.
probably done a few different times along the way.
Maybe it's probably, that's always the thing. Good artists steal and great artists don't get caught. That's another one.
Well, I don't mind admit that I do look at the net a lot because there's a lot of great things on the net, and I like to see what people are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your other favorite mediums to do besides like collage? Like, would you like that's all sculpture? I mean,
Yeah, that's called assemblage. Yeah, that's a fun medium right now. I mean, I love to do woodworking.
Mm-hmm. Do you mind if I grab the little robot and show it to the?
Oh yeah, the robots are fun.
This robot, it's adorable. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
If I wasn't trying to like cut back on like all the stuff that I had in my life right now and moving into a little tour bus that's like a quarter the size of the space I got now, I would fucking buy it and fucking put it on display someplace, man. It's like something that I really wish I could like figure out a way to like all the artists that I meet. I think like this is a decent way to be like, hey, like check this person's out. Like if you got like a link to a website or anything, I could put that in the description and let people know. And then as I like continue to grow and gain some notoriety in some way, shape, or form, that like people will like come back to it and find it. People who are meant to find it will find it. Is what I like to believe or hold near and dear to my heart. So it's just a better way to get people who everyone can flourish and joy and thrive.
So you haven't found a place to settle down yet?
No, that's kind of like my whole shtick right now. It's like I'm a nomad.
Uh-huh.
That's like to say that I live in Panerai, which just means to be in flow. Which
I
is
like that word.
Yeah, dude, it's Greek.
It's a great word.
I met this dude in, I started to hit him up and get him on the podcast. I met him in LA the first time I was there, and I like played the guitar with him. He was like sitting on his golf cart. I think he's like a filmmaker. Not exactly sure 1,000% what he does. But he just like told me about that. I'm like, yo, I'm like totally needed that word. Like, thank you. And like the art of either like not trying or not caring. I like wrote down some notes that I got on my phone. That guy, I think his name is Michael something. He was cool. He gave me that word, and it's kind of near and dear to my whole like thing that I'm doing. I'm trying to go like live in Mexico for 6 months and then like become like seasonal and like be able to make my living selling the things that I like make, the books, the comedy, and the music.
Is it working?
I mean, I still am like, when I say like I'm just really early on in it, like how I said I got to make the memes and the things that I got to like put on the internet to like for people like pay attention to or scroll past and never see it or whatever it is. But
it's hard.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna.
It's we're so inundated.
Dude, I know. It's literally I don't want to do it because I don't want to be involved in it. I want to like insulate myself and pay somebody else to do it.
Want to make it and not sell it.
Well, it's not so much I don't want to sell it. Like I'm not going to be mad about selling my book. There's zero. I'm not mad about that. Like that's the whole thing. I spent 4-ish years like writing the damn thing. Like I want people to buy that and read it and be like, this was good or this is bad. Just have some like emotional feeling about it, whether they hate it or love it. Like don't really care. But it's more. I guess like less. I feel less refined or less okay with like the having to like sell music and or like I don't even know. I don't know, man. It's just.
I think I don't know. I grew up. I was mostly for my life a freelance designer, so I was selling all the time. And I thought when I transitioned over to art, it would be easy, and it was the first year when I didn't have a studio, and I just went around and sold art to galleries, got into lots of galleries. But you know, as I get older, I don't want to sell less. I want to just make it. You know, I don't care. I want to just make it. And I realize how much selling to people is so different than selling to a business. You know, like business,
totally.
I can go, I can sell you this and you'll make $1 million off it.
Right.
You know, you sell it to somebody else, you make 1,000 of them, you make $1 million. This is about a heart connection.
Right.
Much harder sell.
Yeah.
It's really trippy. I prefer not to.
No, yeah, I get that. Definitely. visual pieces. It makes a lot of sense, especially when you're doing it from a place of like you love it so much that you're like you need to make a living, but like you don't want to feel like you're selling out or like doing it for just that intent of like trying to do it for the money, because that's like disingenuous in a way. It feels like that's a lot of.
Well, I shouldn't have to push people into
right.
things. They should just want it.
That's part of the icky part of sales. There's like this thing of like they like
you find a hook.
Right. They know there's literally like psychological courses they teach people to like this is how you get people like uncertain in themselves and like poke at their insecurities to make them feel like, oh well, now we have the solution to this thing that we're gonna put in front of you and be like, oh, this is the solution to the problem we just created.
TV commercials, all that advertising is all about make you feel insecure about what you got, and this is a way to solve it. A new phone will solve it.
Right, dude.
It's all crazy.
It is. It's wonky as hell, man.
I just want people to love it and then buy it. Mm-hmm. You know, I shouldn't. I need to tell stories about what it is. I need to get them involved in their heart about what it is. But I don't feel like I need to like push them into something.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. I would never want to be like, hey, I know this is like your last dollar, but like I need this, so like can I have it? Like. It's always like, I definitely don't want to feel like I'm pushing anybody into anything. Definitely, because I want to get more into making jewelry, and I feel like that's a good because
women always love jewelry.
Exactly, dude. Catching everyone like shiny things, whether there's like a shiny girl or a shiny big piece of jewelry to get the girl's attention, like whatever it is. I just because you need merch as a touring artist. I hear that's the way
something you can do in a small location.
Exactly, like wire wrapping, and I'm just like I'm gonna probably try to get down to soft medicine today in SPAS school and like take another class that my friend who I work with now is like doing because I want to be able to have like a little like backstock of stuff, and then as I'm like going through Mexico and like set up in front of tourists and be like, oh, I also made this music, and I got this book, and like I also do stand-up comedy, like, and then just hopefully like could do an energy reading for them, like whatever they need, because it's not trying to push them to like, hey, buy this stuff, but it's like if you're here, check it out. I got this podcast, whatever, like be on it if you're cool, if you're an artist, like, because I never know, because the whole thing about being in flow and being in these places at these times are like, who the fuck am I gonna meet?
Can I give you a piece of advice that was told to me? Maybe it's not relevant anymore. You know, a lot of things have changed a lot. My father told me, because I used to do a lot of different things. A lot of different, I do painting, I do collage, I do this. And someone said, what if you took all that energy? You have all this energy you're throwing different ways. What if you trusted yourself and put it only in one thing?
It's like the most terrifying thing.
It is terrifying, but just think of all that energy you're throwing into this little thing and that little thing and that little thing. And how it's taken away from the focused energy you could put into one thing.
Yeah, no, I get that. I might struggle from a story that I probably still have from my childhood. That's like, I never liked being one-dimensional. Like people being able to be like, you're this, and calling me one thing, and then I like being larger than life and all of the things. But
you could be all those things, but you're still maybe only doing one thing.
Like that's kind of why I guess I'm trying to like encapsulate myself into being under the umbrella of an artist, because then all the things that I do is art. I just are doing it in an artsy way, I guess. Doing one thing, doing it really well. I don't even know. It's
just something to think about. It's kind of hard to like really grasp, I think, at the beginning.
And yeah, you're right. I think it's sort of actually a good thing to like end on, I would say, because it's sort of the tradition or like the routine that I have within the show. It's like the least I've ever looked at the notes, which is kind of cool. But it's like ending on like a nugget of wisdom that like if you're gonna give it, like goddess willing, we weren't gonna fucking die as soon as I stopped hitting the record button. But like if that were to happen, like what nugget of wisdom would you want to tell the whole world, or if you could get into everybody's brains? So I think like that's
the nugget wouldn't be that.
Sure, you got another one.
Well, it's the same one I said. Just be happy. Just be happy with what you do. Enjoy what you do. Enjoy your life daily, all the time, as much as you can. I mean, you can't always be rich. You can't always be healthy. You can't always have great relationships, but you can always be happy. You have that choice. Because you can control yourself more than you can control the outside.
That's it, man. The internal realm versus the external realm. That's people looking at the gallery who might walk in.
They'll come in a few minutes.
Maybe not. He's like, oh, I don't know.
People are like that all the time.
Yeah, dude. I was actually, before I came in here, was listening to this dude who like I used to take a lot more seriously as like somebody who I thought espoused a very like deep, honest, actual account of the capital T truth or whatever. But he was saying it was like the perfect like little synchronicity of like he's talking about being the artist and how like you can't trolls or people that are like negatively oriented in their perception of reality are. Or that how art is subjective, essentially. That like, you can't control how people are going to take it or who's going to love it, who's going to hate it. But all you can do is like trust in that like silence or the
trust in yourself.
Yeah, the whatever thing, your heart that's just coming from that authentic space of who you are and moving from that. And then the people 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the line, they'll be like, that was fucking dope. I'm glad he made that. Or like everybody will just going to forget about it. Or you never know what's going to last.
I would hate to be forgotten about.
Yeah, that's definitely a
but
thing.
You know, if I went through this life and I had fun doing it, you know, did what I want, I mean, that's all I can control. I would love everybody to appreciate my art 1,000 years from now, but can I do anything about that? I don't know. You know, maybe what I have to do now to get that to happen, that hasn't been a joy I wanted to go to.
Yeah.
But maybe in the future.
Enjoy what you do it well. And
do it a lot.
You heard it here first. You heard it here last. That's it. People, I'm this way. Have a great day. Live light, be the light, travel light. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.